keeping faith and fun alive in the family, with special guests Josh and Lena Wooten on this episode of Kingdom Dads.
Welcome back, Kingdom Dads. I'm excited to be here today. Of course, this is Nate. We've got Andrew. We've got Tanner without the mic today. We've got a couple of awesome guests, Josh and Lena Wooten here. Andrew, I know Josh and Lena a bit. We overlapped a bit at the church that we go to. But I think that you've known them quite a bit longer. And so go ahead and give them a proper introduction.
Yeah, man. Well, as you guys know, so we're spending a lot of time this season focused on life application and how to actually put words into action. And when we started talking about how to keep fun in the household, which is what today's episode is all about, one couple came to mind. I've known you guys for a long time, and you guys are one of the most fun couples that I've had the pleasure of knowing, and
sweet.
Combined with two very fun individuals. But I know just from talking with you, your family had a ton of fun while your kids were in the house, and you continue to now that you're empty nesters. So glad to have you guys.
We're glad to be here. I think we put it like Kingdom Dads, asterisk, championship Kingdom Mom here in the building for this
Thanks
podcast.
for having me as the first mom on
That's
the
right.
show.
Yes. First mom, first female guest. We're excited to have you.
I'm very happy to be here.
For the opportunity to share.
Yeah. Might I also say, sir, that Nate opened with power today. I jumped a little bit when he kicked that off.
I'm bringing it on. Let's go, right?
Let's do
it. Java-tized.
He's been Java-tized.
Stuff coming.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I have had some coffee
Apologies,
this morning.
anybody who was listening and peed a little bit. Just apologies for that. But I love the energy.
But yeah, as we jump in, I'll second what Andrew said. I think we overlapped at our current church for about a year. And just not really knowing you guys well, you still see that excitement just portrayed. You see like, hey man, this couple is always, they're together, they're on the same page. Like, sure, maybe you're not always smiling because you were at work when I saw you, but you're there, you're a team, you've got each other's backs, and that's 100% obvious. And so, today we want to just pass that along to the listeners. Like, you guys have been married for 24 years and you guys are still going strong.
Yeah.
And so, we're probably going to learn as much as everybody out there today on just how to keep it fun, how to stay as a team and a unit over the years.
Yeah. Why don't you guys talk to us a little bit about kind of the early days, and were you guys intentionally just a fun family, or was it just natural because you both are fun, outgoing individuals? What was that like?
I don't know. I think we both have a healthy sense of adventure, I'll call it. Even when we dated, I was like, I knew she was the one when I was like, hey, do you want to go backcountry camping? And said, we just take everything on our backs and like hike 8 miles into the woods and stay. She's like, that's awesome. I'm like, okay. She came home and went to her house to visit, and she's watching, ESPN football, excited about the Titans. I'm like, I have found the woman for me, and she's always down to have a good time. And, the thing is, I think we both realize that, like Proverbs talks about, like laughter is a good medicine. It is so good. And Jesus came that we may have life to the full, and I believe full is fun. Like it should be a spirit of joy. And we just don't postpone joy around our house. I think one of the things
that's good
for me, the reason, the impotence of why I put so much focus on that is my parents both passed away before I was 13 years old. And I know it's like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be a fun episode. But I think I was really reminded and grew up with a healthy sense of knowing the brevity of life and how you're not promised tomorrow. And I'm going to suck every bit of fun and joy and purpose that I can out of each day. And I'm going to bed tired, and I'll sleep later on in life. But I'm going to just try to have fun while I'm here.
Yeah, we've just always known, we wanted to raise our kiddos to always remember our home as a fun and loving environment. And we wanted to create memories and invest in memories and not things. And so that's always been that's how we've led in parenting, honestly, is creating fun for our children and memories that will last.
Yeah, and so you guys obviously set the tone with that in your house, but what are some key things that you've done, especially early on as you're like, hey, we want to set this tone? What are some key things that you did to do that? Like, what are anything intentional?
Yeah, well, I remember one of the things that we always loved to do is we would, it would be like 9 o'clock at night and the kids would be in bed. We'd already said, brush your teeth and get in the bed. It's bedtime. They're winding down for the day. And all of a sudden, Josh and I would just yell, ice cream. And that meant like you're going to get in the car in your pajamas and we're going to go grab ice cream together. And they would just start laughing.
Yeah.
In fact, we really wanted ice cream, so it was a win for us.
Yeah.
Mama likes some Baskin Robbins. Let's not be like that. She's like, chocolate chip cookie dough sounds good right now. I'm like, all right, kids, go. And Ham be like, I got to get dressed. Like, nope, the rule is you go in what you got on right now. Let's go in the car. And we would just roll. We like to go camping, as a family. It's one of the things where there's no technology, nothing. You're just out in the woods, riding bikes, exploring God's creation.
Making homemade ice cream, playing guitar around the fire.
Yeah.
Just memories that they still look back on today. And I just asked them recently, what's your favorite childhood memories with us? And they would say camping.
Man,
You guys
awesome.
just taking us camping, and we did it every Memorial Day and every Labor Day weekend. We kind of set those 2 weekends aside, and we were pretty faithful with that.
Because you can, it's important to tune out the rest of the world. There's so often we'd be like, okay, this weekend or this trip is us 4, no more, or 4 of us, and just us as a unit. And there's enough stuff trying to rob your joy in life and school for them, at work for us or whatnot. And we're like, you know what? The joy robber, that's a gift from God, and they can't have it. The enemy can't have it. We're not giving our joy to any. And we had a little, we made up songs for everything in our house. It was like joy robbers of joy. Like anytime something was trying to
Joy robbers.
rob our joy, everybody in the van would just sing like in public. Somebody's being a Karen or whatever, the joy robber. Like, they recognize like people trying to rob
so
the joy.
awesome.
It's like, you can't have it. It's mine. And so we would we try to turn everything into fun. It's amazing. It's like pro tip. Put the word party after anything, and kids will think it's we're gonna have a cleanup party. Let's go. And
Cleanup
it's
party.
giving away points. Like, whoever gets done fastest, we're giving you 2,000 points. And they're like,
And they literally knew, like, that's silly. This were the points for the nothing, but it was just fun, just a way to make them laugh.
Yeah. What a great idea that is. I feel like so many times there's stuff to do, right? You got to go to the store. You got to go to baseball practice. There's just stuff you're constantly doing, and why not just turn it into time together? You got a 15-minute car ride to get somewhere. Make it fun. It doesn't always have to be stressful. What a great idea.
Well, and I think one of the things that I know I struggle with is somebody who is a clean freak, an OCD, organized, as Josh is smiling because he knows these things about me, and I hear stories about that, like, hey, people setting up like a camping environment in their living room, and Eden, my youngest daughter, is a bright yellow temperament, like, she wants to make a party environment. Yes,
Yellow.
for sure. So she's always like, let's have a party out here. Let's set up a shop out here. And in my mind, I'm like, you're destroying our house right now.
I'm going to have to clean it up tonight at midnight.
Talk to me about that, because I've talked to a lot of other parents who, we want our kids to get off their iPads, but then as soon as they do and they start being creative and moving pillows around, we're like, don't make a mess.
I want to encourage you with something.
Okay.
It's just for a season.
Yep.
And one day that season comes to an end and they move out. It happened the same week for us. Our daughter got married and our son went off to college. Same week. So prior to that, Josh and I would come down the stairs every morning and the lights would be on. All the lights in the house were on.
Turn the lights off.
Kids, turn off the lights. Dishes in the sink. Please clean your dishes. If you're done eating, put them up. We would complain about this. But the morning after our daughter's wedding and our son had moved off to college, we came downstairs and I stood there and Josh was sitting there and I said, the lights are off.
I was like, the lights are off. And I was like, oh, the lights are off.
Yeah.
And in that moment, we both got teary-eyed and we just had a moment of tears like, wow, we spent a lot of time telling them to turn the lights off. And then they were off and the kids were gone. And so I say that to say, hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just let yourself relax a little bit and just know at the end of the day, it'll be cleaned up.
Yep.
You can have a dance party while you're cleaning it up. But it will be clean because it goes by.
Dang, that's so
hold on.
good. I literally have like chills as you're talking about that, because that's something that I know I'm constantly having to very recently challenge myself with, because for a control person, right, that makes me feel very out of control. And I've talked to a lot of others who relate to that. And so I got to relinquish control so I'm not a no dad.
You gotta heed Anna's wisdom. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then think about the environment that you wanted to grow up in.
Yeah.
What did you want your home to feel like? and then try to create that for your kiddos. And it can be hard. I mean, I know you love everything clean. He's the same way. People will be eating at our house and Josh is cleaning their dishes. I'm like, stop, wait, so you just have to train yourself. I can't stand a dish in the sink. Like there's just something with everything has a place and a place for everything. Just it's easy. It's easier to keep a clean house than
I'm like, you finished with that? Oh,
I remember my mom.
No, you're finished. Here, I'll take it.
My mom telling us, I grew up going to Madison Church of Christ, and Ira North was our preacher then, and my mom would quote him all the time. And one of the things that Ira North said was, a happy home is a messy home. If you have to walk over toys, you're in a good house.
Dang, that's really
so
good.
My mom used to quote that even as a child to me. And so
that's good.
That's always stuck with me.
Nate's home is happy. He got train tracks everywhere.
I know, man. I thought
you were going to be wearing a conductor hat.
Yeah.
One of the last episodes I heard, I'm like, I'm ready for the conductor hat.
That's what I feel like when I step in my house this afternoon. And probably that when my son turned about 2 and we've got like 50, 75 foot of train track going through the living room. We're like stepping over and we're like, dude, we got a bonus room upstairs. Why don't you just build up there? Which we actually was encouraging him to do that. And it's like, he's not down here with us. He's upstairs.
He don't want to be up there building
maybe
trains
become an engineer one day, and it pays well. He'll take good care of it.
Yeah, I know, right? So we are encouraging that now. We got train tracks going through the house. We're stepping over them. We're tripping over them, and we're good.
That's amazing. And then Andrew, pray about it. Let's ask the Lord to help you in those moments. And I know you are.
That is literally, I'll be honest, that is my personal number one focus. We were at Celebrate Recovery last night and I was thinking about it, talking even about hang-ups. I'm like, mine is frustration. And most of it comes from feeling out of control in those moments, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the number one thing I'm conscious about. We're very open and transparent on this show with our own struggles, obviously. That's
amazing.
Mine. So
great.
Yeah,
it should
absolutely.
be.
And something you guys touched on is how fast things go by. And I haven't really applied it to this. I've only ever applied it to the good times, right? That's something patients always told me before I was having my son, like soak up the moments because it's going to fly by. So that's something I've tried to be intentional doing, and it does.
And
it
you have
flies.
to prioritize it, man. You have to, we make time for the things that are important to us. Look, it's the old, I say, show me what you worship, show me what's important to you, is that show me your calendar and your checkbook, your bank account. That's where it's important. And we've got to the point where we're prioritizing, like we go on vacation. I love this, I'm a kind of get up early guy, but one of the fun things that we did, Hannah and I, she would like to get up early with me and we'd go to the hotel pool before anybody else was up. It's just something we always did when we were on vacation and fun. And now she's still, every now and then we'll talk about it. And Lena even said, I knew y'all were up. I would
be awake and I would act like I was asleep because I would hear her going, Daddy. Let's go to the pool. He didn't want to do that. He was tired. Yeah. But no regrets.
But it's like, Ryman wanted to play basketball every day after school.
Every day.
And it was like, oh my goodness, you get home, some days like, I didn't want to play, but and he's like, it was everything to him. You were like, you're in the air of all the questions, and it's like, come on, Dad, and you're trying to balance the work and stuff. But Matt Chandler talked about these transition prayers. And when these prayers, when you're driving home and you pull in the driveway to go, okay, Lord, let me be present with these people. These are more important than anybody that I work with. Let me be the best dad and husband that I can when I walk in the door, that I don't bring all that stuff in with me, and like if you're going to the grocery store, going into a meeting, just that little prayer about everything. Yeah. But I had a buddy of mine that's a songwriter and the importance of doing the things like playing basketball, because especially when they get to be teenagers, it's harder to get them to open up and what's going on. And he said, he goes, that's how I got my boys to talk to me. They're a football family, his name is Casey Beathard. His son is I think he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now he played for Iowa State, football family. He goes, after school, we'd just be out there throwing the ball around, playing catch. And he goes, and that's how I'd get them to open up. He goes, they think we're just playing catch, whatever. And he goes, he brought that into a songwriting session one day. And he goes, they think we're playing catch, didn't sing well. And he actually wound up writing that song of Trace Atkins, She Thinks We're Just Fishing.
Yep.
That's a great song. That's what's the genesis of that song, is him playing catch with his boys. And that's how he'd get to know what was really going on in their lives. So
that's a great point, because even last night I was thinking about this. We got home. I had 11 meetings yesterday, something like that, led many of them, most of them, and was exhausted. Eden gets home, it's 92 outside or whatever, and Eden's like, let's go jump on the trampoline. I'm like, babe, it's 4:00. Like, It's hot.
Yeah.
And the trampoline's in the sun. I don't want to go jump on the trampoline.
Says the guy that had a fire going at 100 degrees the other day.
Listen, I didn't start that fire. But
Singing Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's right.
Ryan didn't start the fire.
But I did. I got out and jumped with her, even for like 7 minutes probably, and forced myself to say, all right, I'm gonna go jump, trying to
Good
be more
job.
conscious about this.
Yeah.
She loved it. It could have been 40 minutes to her. She was happy as could be, and then she was hot and came
Exactly.
inside.
That's so sweet.
So-
You're making that heart
Spell
connection.
love.
Yeah.
T-I-M-E.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
say that.
You know,
That's a
they
good
do.
point.
Yeah.
You know, and something else I was going to with how fast time goes by in the good times, it goes back quick in the challenging times too. Like when you're stressed, when you're worried about the house being a mess, right? That's a good point you guys made. Like the time's going to fly, you know, and you're going to look up and it's going to be gone, and you're going to be like, man, I wish there were some pillows on the floor. You know, I haven't felt that yet, but it sounds like that's kind of what you
quicker
reflect
than
back
you
on.
think, my
Yeah.
friend. And then, you know, document those things. You know, it's funny. You said, yeah, everybody knows the Wootens have fun. My wife is the mayor of Facebook, Lena Wooten, mayor of
no.
Facebook 2026.
Yeah, I like to take photos and remember them.
Absolutely.
And my daughter, in fact, will send me memories almost weekly. Mom,
This is the
13 years
key.
ago today, we were doing this. And she can look
that's
back
awesome.
and see them too.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Digital scrapbook for our family.
There's a
Yeah.
friend of
That's
ours,
that.
those that are anti-social media and things. He
Yeah.
said he made a very interesting point. He said we are the first branch of our family's digital family tree. You know, those of us that
That's-
are early adopters. He goes, if we want to know, if you and I want to know about our grandparents, we got to go talk to family members and interview them
Yeah.
and the stories that are passed down orally. Our grandkids and great grandkids, they want to know about, you know, Granddude and Lily here. They're going to
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram, and that's
Yeah.
is our digital family scrapbook.
Yeah.
And
So I
it-
do think of it like
it
that.
does. Our kids will send us, hey, 8 years ago today, this is what we were doing. They're on it and they recognize it now. So
Yeah.
That's a
that
good
is
point.
why we post as much for us and our kids to
Yeah.
have. And when I'm old and senile and forget everything, oh, I
Man.
did that. That was cool.
What
a
a
great
great
point.
perspective, because I mean there are so many negative things about social media, but there are also a lot of really positive things when it's used right, and that's a great perspective.
Yeah, watch out, Facebook. Here I come.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's
He's getting
Yeah, I need
it.
to remember
Smash
this
that
stuff.
like
That was
button,
good job,
everybody. Subscribe.
Every time I see Matt Chandler speaking, I always look. I'm like, is that Nate's dad? They look like they could be
Very
father
much.
and
They are
son.
very similar.
Totally.
I'll have to
look
into
this
that.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Now I can't unsee it.
Yep, there, you're welcome.
You know, before we go on to the next thing, I've just got to reflect back about this ice cream thing, right? So
Yeah.
here in a couple weeks when it's 9 o'clock and my wife's trying to get my son to bed and it's not
Andy's is
going.
open, by the way. Andy's ice cream.
That's
Oh,
that's,
nice.
That's our
They-
They
jam.
stay open until 10?
900
Yeah,
calorie
maybe even
minimum.
11.
Oh my God.
What? Yeah, so next time it's not
gotta
going
stay
well, I'm
away.
just going to yell ice cream. Sorry,
Ice
babe.
cream.
That is Josh and Lena's fault. So
yeah,
yeah.
and they have to go in their pajamas. That makes, and so do you, though. That kind of makes it more fun. and
right.
memorable.
Nice. All right. Done.
Do it.
Yeah.
You can't wear your quarter zip.
Hey, full pajamas. I'll have to hunt some of those down, but
What's
You
happening?
can if
work
you wear a
out.
gold chain with it.
there we go. House shoes on, right? I guess I
Yeah.
keep my house shoes on. It's good, right?
I love it. All right. Something I want to ask that was on my mind this week is I hear a lot of people talk about the balance of friendship with your kids versus being a parent. What was that like, or did you guys ever have scenarios when, you know, hey, maybe you did have to have more serious conversations with your kid or correct things where it's like, hey, yes, we have fun as a family first and we're all buddies and have a great environment and we're all on the same page, but this is time for mom and dad
Oh,
talk.
of course. We always talk about having a heart connection with your kiddos. So I think once you have a strong heart connection with your kiddos, then discipline feels different to them. Yelling does not work.
Yeah.
Yelling, studies have shown that it causes anxiety. It can cause depression. It doesn't work. And, you know, you think about your favorite coach or your favorite teacher, your favorite school teacher. What did you love about them, right? They believed in you. They inspired you. They coached you to win the game. And so when we would discipline our kiddos, we kind of approached it like that. You know, I would get down on their level and look them in the eye and just say, hey, I want to talk to you. This is something I've seen. Makes my heart feel sad because this and this and this. And just connect with their hearts and be, don't have such high expectations that you expect them to be perfect because they're going to fail.
Yeah.
You know, and then also think about when you're parenting your kiddos, you're reflecting the heart of God. You know, we talk about God being the Heavenly Father, and there's also studies that link that psychologically to kids viewing their dads like they would view God. And so if you're yelling at your kids, you're scaring them, then they're going to feel somewhat afraid of the Lord
Yeah,
too.
the goal is to inspire them, not to scare
inspire
them.
them.
And discipline is about direction. And sometimes we need to let our kids fail. It's the old saying. I was like, so often we as parents, our job is not to prepare the path for our children, but to prepare our children for the path.
Yeah.
We're trying to clean up all the stuff and not let them fail. Oh, I see he could mess up here, so I'm going to make sure you don't. It's like kids learn from their failures. They learn from walking out the consequences of their sin.
Yep.
Unfortunately and fortunately at the same time. That's very, very important. We think that, for us, discipline was helping them play the tape forward, so to speak. Hey, this is why, it's like.
Tell them the why.
Yeah.
Why that was a bad choice. That because I said so, or that's bad. It's like you show them and you teach them.
And sometimes there's a place for that. It's like the 4 C's of parenting. Like the caregiver is the first one. They're babies. You carry the cop. The cop sometimes doesn't need, just because I said so is good enough. Like they're trying to go out in the street. Don't go in the street. I don't have time to
don't
sit here
touch that fire.
It's like, oh, why can't I touch this fire? I'm like, well, we don't have time for this discussion. Just do what I say and come over. But the more you can coach them up, let them get out in the field of life, play it, and then come back. All right, how did that work out for you? What went well in that play and what didn't? What would you do different next time to avoid that? And trying to talk to them and respect them as well. I remember one of the things, when I had discipline, there was one time that, Ryman talked crazy to my wife, and I had a moment where I pulled him to side and I said, listen, bud, I said, nobody talks to I won't let a grown man talk to my wife that way, much less an 8-year-old boy. I could take you, son. And I chose her. I didn't choose you. It was a moment where like, hold on, this is not just my dad. This is an upset husband that I disrespected his wife. And awesome. I let him know, but then it was just, and then there are times where I would, go too hard in the paint on him, and I'd be like, listen, dude, I'm sorry. That's the 2 most powerful words you can say to your kids is, I'm sorry. That's not the dad I want to be. I didn't react the way I should. Do you forgive me? And I remember the first time I asked Ryman for forgiveness when he was like 3 or 4, he's like, wait a minute, this is not how this is supposed to work. I'm supposed to ask you to forgive me. And I'm like, no, dude, I messed up. Do you forgive me? Let's hug it out. It's modeling. It's the old show is better than tell.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can tell your kids all day to do stuff, but they're going to model what they see you do and how you respond.
Yeah, that's really good. And that's something we brought up several times of we're not perfect, right? And it's okay for you to not be perfect as a father. Right. What's not okay is if you don't show your kid that it is okay not to be perfect. If you don't apologize, if you don't say, can you forgive me? I'm sorry.
I messed up.
Yeah, I think that's huge, and there's another piece you guys brought out that I took away from our podcast a couple episodes ago with Tom is, you don't think about your 3 and 4-year-old of like, I need to gain this child's respect so they'll listen to me. It's more like, hey, I just need you to do what I'm telling you to do because I'm busy and I need you to listen. And like you don't think about that because you're the father and the kid, in my case, it's my son. But really, there's going to be a time where they're not following you because you're the parent, because you're bigger. They're following you because they respect you.
Yes, exactly.
And you can never start gaining that respect too early, it sounds like.
The last 4, the 4 C's I talked about is like a caregiver, cop, coach. The last one is consultant.
Yep.
And that's what you become when your kids move out. That's right. Where we are. And thankfully, we've built such a relationship that they want to come back and hang out with us. And that's the goal is, to be able to still maintain that relationship. And they do come to us for wisdom, but we didn't have a problem in the fun department with that. And I think that's really why they keep coming back is because we're still trying to be fun with them.
That's good.
I love that.
It can be fun.
You
can make discipline fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, it depends. Like I won't say bad cop, good cop. Dads and moms have different ways of approaching things.
Yeah.
I remember when I would be lighting into my kids or discipline, having moments of intense fellowship, we'll call it, in our house.
There you go.
But
Got a fellowship.
I would be like getting in there and Lena's in behind me going, y'all are in trouble.
Yes.
And it's like,
I love
what's going on? I'm trying to discipline. And then we're laughing and we finally go, okay, you guys get this. Like, it just, she would turn that into fun. You know, and still, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, right? Once your kid realizes they've done something wrong,
Yeah.
There's no need to keep hammering
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it's
Right.
It's the whole exasperation
You
thing that you
discipline and
guys
you move on.
talked about on Tom's episode.
We talked about before this show, but so I got a full-size Maui adult costume that came in yesterday for reasons that we'll talk about outside of this podcast. But anyway, Eden got in trouble yesterday afternoon in the kitchen, and she was mad at me for getting on her, rightfully so, though. She kept interrupting her mom. She was like, I'm going to my room. I'm upset. I need some alone time. And so she was in there pouting, and that's when I dressed up in the Maui costume and went and knocked on her door. I was like, do you have someone here?
That's so good.
Beautiful. And
Yeah.
she's never going to forget that.
I'm the whitest Maui you've ever seen.
Well,
FYI.
At least you're
funny.
trying.
That's right.
I can't wait till we can show pictures of you in the Maui costume and Tanner in the chicken costume. Is that
Listen.
right? Hey or Jorge or what's its?
Hey.
Hey.
So, all right,
Hey.
guys, Tanner's going to be a chicken.
Jorge.
He can't defend
Hey.
himself right now because he has no mic.
Tanner, the first thing he says is, hey.
Yeah.
It's like he's getting in. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So good. Well, it's like you say, dressed up in costume. We had a friend that is a pastor, and for what was it, Flag Day? He dressed as Betsy Ross and woke his kids up to Betsy Ross and made them pancakes. It's like those little funny traditions are what stick with them. Our kids would have sleepovers, and we would make music videos. All the kids would want to come. We wanted to be the house where the kids wanted to hang out.
Same.
And we just did the stuff. We made buy good snacks. They know they got fridge rights. Anything in the fridge you can have, and we'd make music videos and all this stuff. It was just fun, and now it's so much easier to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Cap cut and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
Right. You have your camcorder.
and
Yeah.
just-
With a camcorder.
It wasn't that bad, but it was.
We had cell phones.
I did have to learn how to
We have our
edit.
portrait artist here. Not that
Oh
old.
my gosh!
Not
If they
that
go
old.
looking for YouTube videos, there's some gold there with
There's
of
some
our
gold of our
kids
kids.
I love it.
back in the day.
Yeah, we may have to hunt those down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should have had some ready for this
Oh my
show.
goodness, no.
Man, had we only known.
Oh my goodness!
They're out there.
I want to talk about a little bit about now that you guys are in the empty nester season, keeping fun alive after kids move out. So talk about that transition. What does that look like? I know you guys, when I think about my daughters and one of my goals for raising them, what you just mentioned, I want them to want to come and be near us and come back. That's like my number one goal. And to be an adult friend, if you will, where I'm a consultant, but we move into that stage successfully. I feel like you guys have done that very successfully. Talk about that.
I'm not sure exactly. I would love to say, oh, this is X, Y, and Z, why it happened. It all goes back to the kind of people you want to hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who do you want to hang out with in life? We all got time is the equalizer as far as currency goes. And who do you want to spend your time with? You want to spend time with people that are fun to be around, that build you up, like your work bestie or whoever it is. Who is that you enjoy spending time with? We want to be that for our kids, and we do it by, I guess, years of memories and little quirky, weird things that we would do that build tradition in, like, Lena's whale noise or the beep, like that's one of those things that's just so funny.
When we're in the grocery store and we can't find each other, I would go beep, and I'd make a beep noise.
And it was real loud. You couldn't tell if it was a checkout, but we would do this
but you
thing.
knew.
I want to hit. It's like, and she would beep, and we would find each other in the grocery store instead of yelling. There was one day she also has a whale noise that she cannot do on the mic.
It would
'cause
break the
it would
microphone.
break the microphones in your headphones. But it's an obnoxiously loud whale call is how we started to do this. Back in the day when we want to have fun, when nobody else is around, we'll do the whale call. If there's people around, you beep because then they're looking around going, and you're just pushing the buggy. And one day.
Something the kids laugh at.
But they laugh, and they still do it to this
Yes.
day. Like,
That's
we'll
funny.
hear them when they pull in the driveway, beep, or the whale call or whatever. And we were in Target one day, and I was trying to find Lena. This is a funny story. We were doing the whale. I did the whale call because I couldn't find her. I thought nobody's around. I'm like, it was so loud. I didn't know. This lady comes around the corner and she jumps. She's going, "Oh my God, you scared the crap out of me." And I was like, "Kelly Clarkson." I kid you not. It was Kelly Clarkson in the Hendersonville Target. She was pregnant as all get out. I mean, I thought I was going to send her into early labor. And she was like, "What was that?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, this
I guess my wife and I make a whale
this
noise
is how
to
we
find each other.
in the store when we're lost." She's like, "That's adorable." Well, it was just funny, but it's one of the things that we do. And people will see her today.
Yes.
Kids in youth ministry like, "Lena, do the whale call."
They do.
That's hilarious.
Let's
That's
do the whale
funny.
call.
That's
and,
awesome.
and we date each other a lot, like Fridays.
Yeah.
Like people that know us know that Fridays are like, that's our day.
Yeah.
And that's,
That's good.
people
I remember
know
you
it.
told me that years ago. I remember.
Yeah.
I
Having
love
our
that.
Friday.
It goes back to
Yeah.
making time for the things that are important. You know, my
Yeah.
kids may question a lot of things about me, rightfully so, but my love for her and our commitment to each other and having fun and doing that stuff, you know,
Man.
they know that God comes first, she's second, and everything else, you know, they're third, and everything else comes out of that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, you know, you brought up fry dates, but even stepping back, right? Like we talked about the empty nester stage a little bit, but while you were in the grind of it when your kids were young, how are you guys still connecting as a couple to know each other and love each other and grow with each other?
Yeah, it's important for kiddos to see you, even having young children in your home, sitting on the couch together. Even something as simple as sitting on the couch with your spouse and talking to them and telling your kiddos, hold on, mom and dad are spending time together for just a moment. You know, let us have our time. And then showing them that your marriage comes first.
Yeah.
A lot of people fail at that. A lot of people put their kids first and pour everything they have into their children, and they abandon their marriage. So then when the children leave the house, the marriage is like, we don't know each other anymore.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen time and time again. So we try to tell parents early on, date, set aside a day aside. When your kids go to school, if they're not homeschooled, you send them to school, find a day where the two of you can go have lunch together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
then talk to your kids about it. Show them that you did
It
that.
has to be a little more unorthodox, and you have to work a little harder when your kids are younger and busy. But like, you know, it's like anything. Put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Just like we schedule lunch meetings or whatever, like people at our office knew, like, hey, once Friday lunch, like, you don't get that. That's hers. And the people will just eventually start. And now my kids know. They're like, you know, Hannah and Peyton are like, yeah, we're going on a Friday. It's funny to watch your kids take on some of the stuff that you did and
that's
seeing
awesome.
the importance of that.
I love what you said, the unorthodox, because that's something that we've talked about a lot. Is you do have to be okay with it being unorthodox. Like, hey, you're probably not going to get the normal time slot you did before kids. Like, you have to be very flexible and creative.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's for a season,
works.
like you said.
Our daughter is a new mom, so we have a 6-month-old grandbaby now.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So sweet.
It's the best thing
but
ever.
even talking to my daughter and reminding her it's so important to date your husband.
Yeah.
And that very day she called me, she goes, can you take Sonny for a little bit? Peyton and I are going to go on a date. And we said, absolutely.
Awesome.
And so we did.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good
Yeah.
That's
stuff.
Lena's grandma hack right there. Plant the
Yes.
seeds, watch back. Ha, yeah, I'll take the baby.
I've got
you
the
need to do
candy
this
ready
with
for
you.
it.
Great payback.
Speaking of hacks, I know you mentioned before we started recording that you've got a great husband/dad hack. Let's
All
hear
right,
it.
this is a pro tip, you know, because this is a situation that you always get in. You know, where are we going to eat? Where do you want to go eat? And then if somebody opened a restaurant that was called I Don't Care, it would be like the most popular place in town because everybody would be going there. But the truth is, this is what I do to Lena. She knows the lunch spot. I'm just like, guess where we're going to lunch today?
I'll say like a Hattie B's.
And I'm like, exactly. I had no idea where we're going to lunch.
That's brilliant.
But I'm like,
That's your
guess
hack.
where
That's
we're
good.
going.
That's a
Look,
date
it's
hack.
that place you always
Nice.
want to do. What is that? Guess what we're going to do today? She's like, well, no. What is that thing that you've been really wanting to do? Like,
Gosh, that's a great.
and then you're like, tells me, like, all right, I got to make this happen. But
that's how well I know you.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's go. That's where we're going. Yeah. And she basically knows that's my angle, but it works. You know, sometimes she's not always
Yes.
thinking about it. So dudes,
I'm gonna try that.
There you
like,
go.
Hey,
that
I have a pro mom hack.
Yes, bring
Nice.
A
it.
parent hack.
oh, when it comes to discipline,
Yes,
you got to tell that story.
I am. I'm going to. You're reading my mind. If you have 2 children and they're fighting and they're arguing, this happened to Josh and I.
Oh, wait a minute.
We were
Kids
driving
don't
in the
get
car.
along all
Yeah,
the time?
we're driving in the car, and our
What?
kiddos are in the back seat, and they're fighting. Right? They're just picking and they're telling on each other, and we're in a little car and they're fighting. And I just thought, okay, Lord, what do we do? And I'm telling you, this is from the Lord. I turned around and I said, Hannah, Ryman, hold hands. Grab hands right now and hold each other's hand. So they're holding hands. And I said, compliment each other. Begin complimenting each other. Hannah, you go first, and then you, Ryman. And it went something like this. You're cool.
You're a good dancer.
You're really good at basketball.
Yeah, you sing really good.
You have a lot of friends.
And then just all of a sudden,
I'm telling y'all, I was like, what is happening?
and next
Dang,
thing you
that's
know,
good.
they were hanging out. They didn't even realize they were being disciplined.
They went home and they just
Played?
had fun. They just were like, let's go
Nice.
play.
Yeah.
Let's jump on the trampoline. And I'm like, Thank you, Jesus. That was from you, Lord.
We had a friend, and I'm not kidding. Like she had a what she called a get along shirt. It was an XL shirt that she would put both of her she wrote a big Sharpie the get along shirt on it,
put 'em in a shirt
and
together.
both of her kids had to get in that mug when they were arguing. She's like, "Get the shirt," and they would just sit there. They'd have to walk around, two heads in one shirt, their arms out. Like they called it the get along shirt.
Man, this is so applicable to us
There's
because
pro hacks.
Oh no,
that's so helpful.
Shout
though,
out
because
Marla for the
our girls. You know,
get
we've
along
got two
shirt.
daughters, and they bicker constantly, and it's something that I've literally prayed about. Like, God, like, how do we parent through this? Because their temperaments naturally wear each other out.
Yeah.
And one's a blue, one's a yellow,
Yeah.
and so it's
Compliment. Hold hands and compliment.
I'm
each
trying
other.
this today.
I hope it works for you, but
Well,
Yes.
and the road trip.
I'll report back.
Lena would be like, if we were driving
this is
on,
good
on
too.
a road trip when they were little, and they would have the same moments of intense fellowship, we'll call it.
this is good.
And she would be like, for every hour that you guys don't argue, I'm going to give you a prize. She had a glove box, and she went to like Five Below. It wasn't like
Go to the
anything that
Dollar
was,
Tree,
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
snacks.
it wasn't massive, but
One time it was like a ticket to get whatever they wanted out of the gas station.
I don't
Like,
remember if I think you told us that.
I may have told
3 or
it
4
at a
years
parenting
ago.
class.
Because
Class.
yes, that's where we heard
It
it, because
was.
we started implementing that on Florida trips,
Yeah.
and it works amazing.
Isn't it
Every
great?
60 minutes,
So
you
it'd be
get
like,
along,
Mom,
you get something out of treasure box.
it's 4:00. What are
Yep.
you getting? Oh, you're getting a bouncy ball. Woo!
Yep. Now,
You know?
now we'll drive. We had to
Nice.
teach them because we'll drive to like the gas station. They'll be like, "Hey, where's the treasure box?" I'm like, "No, this only applies to like trips 2 hours and over."
yeah.
You've been together
Yeah,
30
you're just
seconds.
We're just going to school, pal. I got to get gas.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's
Amazing.
awesome. Well, good stuff, guys. A lot of good takeaways. Date your wife. That's important all along. Find time for it. Make things fun. Even when you're stressed, time's going to fly. Make it fun. Find a way to make it fun. Gain respect from your kids. Listen to them. Connect with them. The heart connection is what you called it.
Invest in memories and not things.
Yes.
Create memories with your kiddos, so when they look back, they go, "That was great. I had a great time in that house, and it was
That's
full of
awesome.
love."
And it doesn't have to be like you
Yeah.
plan all this fun stuff. It's like injecting it into the things you're already doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
right.
we would go
Huge.
out to restaurants, and Ryman we'd go, okay, let's see who can sneak the most meows into the server before that they would notice, and be like, "Yeah, what would you like to meowed like a Diet Coke?" You know? And like all of it. It's just a weird little funny thing we would do, but it would
Yeah,
work. It was
hilarious.
just fun, you know.
Yeah. That's
love
awesome. Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anything else to wrap up?
No, I just want to thank you guys for being here. I know I've got
absolutely
several applicable things I'm going to take from this. So I hope it's
Same.
been very meaningful to everybody
Yeah, thank you
listening.
guys.
And it's exactly what I expected when we wanted to have you guys on. This is
so
thank you
honored
so
to
much.
be
So,
here.
yeah, we really appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you guys
absolutely.
and what you're
Yeah,
doing
man.
to help empower dads.
right.
Because,
Yeah.
as the dad goes, the home goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bingo.
Like what you guys are
Well
speaking
said.
on and what you're doing is so crucial.
Yeah.
So often the moms are leading the way spiritually in the household. So good on you for putting a yes on
That's
the
right.
table for this and making this happen to empower dads. And so
That's right.
Thanks for
you're
that.
doing
brother.
kingdom work here. So
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Well, guys, we're I want to just talk about real quick before we wrap. We've got some exciting stuff coming as well. So this coming week, we're recording with a group called Parent Pro Tech about technology in the kids and technology with the kids. And Tanner just threw me off because he whispered the schedule. Next 2 episodes, we've got Parent Pro Tech, Kathleen Edelman, and
that's a big get right there.
yep, it's going to be awesome. So how do you protect your kids with all the tech that they've got their hands on now? We've already talked to you guys about Kathleen and kind of what she's going to be talking about around the temperaments and how to parent, with those temperaments in mind. So we've talked a little bit about that today. But man, just encourage you guys, keep following along. Excited to keep bringing great content and excited for what's to come.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being part of
Thanks
this.
for
Thank you
having
guys
us.
for being part of
Having
this.
us.
You want to
This
pray
is
us
awesome.
out?
Sure, I'd love to.
Cool.
Let's pray. God, I just thank you so very much for the gift of children. Lord, they are a reward from you. And Lord, in many cases, they're our most precious gift. And Lord, let us steward it well. Let us show them you in us, Father. Let us to parent like you parent us, God, which is lovingly with grace and truth and discipline. God, you discipline those you love. And so, God, help us to do that with our kids. But Lord, let us also to do it with a spirit of fun, and that we would always have and maintain a strong heart connection with our kids, because at the end of the day, they won't remember everything that we taught them, but they will remember how we made them feel, and it'll make them want to come back around when they get older. And God, thank you for these two guys, for Andrew and Nate and Tanner and everybody involved with the Kingdom Dads podcast. God, continue to bless them and their work that they're doing, God, to help empower dads to be the men that you've called them to be. And we thank you for that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. What's up, Kingdom Dads? Thank you guys so much for listening in and watching today's episode. We are live on YouTube, all the platforms, X, Facebook, I don't know, Twitter, Instagram.
All of them.
All of them. So many now. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Like, subscribe.
Yeah, guys, gals, thanks for being here. As Andrew said, like, subscribe, comment, be part of this journey with us.
That's right.